This is the Steele Report.
And this week on the Steele Report, we're going to take a look at the great efforts of Central Rivers Area Education Agency in improving student learning. And our show begins right now.
Now from KWWL, this is the Steele Report.
Well, right now on the Steele Report, I want to welcome two special guests to this week's edition as we talk about a very, very critical issue and one that really concerns Central Rivers Area Education Agency here in the Cedar Valley. We're going to talk a lot about that with these two guests, but we're going to focus today on improving mental health services as they support so many school districts within the district. So let me introduce our guests here. First of all, Rusty Sparks is our first guest here today. Rusty, welcome to the program. And Rusty is the Special Education Consultant for Central Rivers AEA. She lives over in Rhinebeck and really has an extensive background in education. So Rusty, welcome to the program. And then I'd like to introduce Amy Knupp, who's the Executive Director of Special Education for Central Rivers. She's from Dysart, and Amy is based in the Cedar Falls office out there on Hudson Road, as is Rusty. So the first thing I want to do with both of you is just kind of briefly explain what Central Rivers AEA does in supporting, I believe, some 62,000 students on a daily basis. That is just extraordinary. So, Amy, why don't you go? You're the executive director of this. Yeah. Tell us more.
We serve, like you said, 62,000 students. We cover 9,000 square miles in 18 counties. And we have really three departments within our AEA. One is, of course, special education. The other one is what's called ed services or instructional services. And the third one is our media services that we provide to school districts across our AEA.
Yeah, so for example, when you say special education services, so AEA is in charge of River Hill School, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Mike Lonning's the principal out there, and we know Mike is such a great guy. So that's just one area. So Rusty, your specialty is what, and what do you do as far as helping these students and staff too, yeah?
So I serve as a consultant for the agency, and we provide, when we're thinking about providing supports for mental health, I provide professional development. We provide learning opportunities for our staff so that they can provide better supports for the students that have mental health concerns in the schools. We do everything from provide supports around individual students to talking about whole systems kinds of work so that we are able to change the systems in the school system, in the schools and the districts, and individual teachers. So wide range of supports.
This vast support system is just really incredible. And like you say, you go clear up to Mason City area, right? I mean,
we're up to the Minnesota border.
Minnesota border already. Wow, that's fantastic.
And down below Interstate 80.
Okay, so like the Grant Wood Area Education Agency, also in our viewing area, right? Are you comparable in size, or just a little bit different in population? Maybe?
Geographically, we're larger, but Grant Wood is larger population-wise.
Yeah, because they have a lot of population growing down in that part of what they call the corridor there with Iowa City and Lynn County and Johnson County. So the area education agencies were actually created in 1974, so they've been around a long time. The Iowa legislature created them, and it says really to ensure equal educational opportunities for all children from birth through age 21. In fact, I was looking at the mission, and you know it well, I'm sure, but Central Rivers AEA supports educators, parents, and the communities we serve, and the ultimate goal is to improve student learning. That kind of wraps it up in that last part of the sentence, doesn't it? Yeah. And do you feel you're doing enough? Obviously, the mental health issue has come up recently in the last few years, so this is an area that you're really focusing on right now.
Yeah, we are. That is our main priority right now, is the well-being, is kind of what we call it in our agency, the well-being for students. We are have developed a 5-phase process for schools to implement to help kids across the school, those that are displaying mental health difficulties. We have also, with the money that Governor Reynolds provided to us for mental health services to school, we have trained over 400 teachers on youth mental health first aid training, which is a nationwide curriculum about helping teachers identify the I want to say, the symptoms and signs of what could be mental health issues within a child.
Yeah, for example, let's say we have you have a classroom, you have a disruptive child who just has an outburst.
What we have learned over the last several years in our work and our research is that we need to look at those disruptive behaviors differently, where we used to really focus on the behavior itself and put strategies and supports in place for behavior, which has then sometimes caused that behavior to escalate because we're not focusing on the mental health needs of that student.
I see.
And so we have really changed our beliefs and our emphasis, and the research is showing that we need to focus on other pieces of what might be causing that behavior, and then teaching skills and strategies for the student so that they can cope better in that school setting.
Well, I know, for example, I think in Des Moines, and I don't know if the schools around here do it, but if there's a really disruptive student, the rest of the class leaves the room. Is that what? I'm not sure what that's called, but that strategy, is that working, do you think?
It depends on the issue. I'm going to go back to what you were talking to Rusty about as far as behavior and mental health. I think of an example when I was a school psychologist, and we had a child who would not exit the room, and was disruptive in the room all the time. And a lot of times with kids who are demonstrating behavior difficulties, we put what we call reinforcers in place in order to try and teach the child the skills they need to be able to leave the classroom or walk up a stairwell or whatever it is. The difference is we're reinforcing a child, and usually kids who have behavior difficulties will learn the new pattern that we want them to learn. With mental health children, they're not always able to learn that pattern because there is some sort of trauma in the background that maybe the child doesn't want to leave the classroom because something's happened in the hall to him or her, or they feel safer in the classroom than they do upon exiting the classroom. So that's kind of the difference that we're looking at. We need to get to the bottom of what the issue actually is.
That's a tough one, it looks to me like. Yeah.
We're working with our teachers to look at what we refer to as a whole child lens. So we're not just looking at the behavior, but digging really deep to see if we can sort out the cause of the behavior, whether it's trauma, whether there's significant mental health concerns, whether poverty we know plays a real role sometimes in that. The other thing that we are really focusing our energies on is helping schools develop safe and caring environments, and understand the research is telling us that if we put social emotional learning curriculum in place and we embed that in what's happening in schools, that will eliminate some of those mental health concerns that we're seeing in schools. So some of our PD, some of the professional learning and professional development we're providing for the schools is to help them understand what are those components of a well-rounded social emotional learning practices, and how to embed that in the instruction they're providing. Because you're right, teachers have a very, very difficult job, and they're focused on teaching literacy or math or chemistry, whatever their topic is. They don't have time for us to give them one more thing to do,
right.
But how do we help them understand that within their content they can teach these practices that will then support all students, but especially our students that come to school struggling.
Yeah, because if you have a classroom of 20 people and it's being disrupted by one, that's really unfair to the other students. For example, you're talking about statistics, 1 in 5 children and adolescents will have signs of mental health disorder during a school year. Scary stuff.
Right.
What do you want, you work with the teachers in the school districts every day, but maybe some of them aren't even aware of what you offer them, but what do you want them to take away from what you're talking about here today?
What we want them to understand is that students who have anxiety might show really disruptive behaviors, and it's not within their realm to do that, to put those strategies in place themselves. Like, Amy commented on a challenging behavior and how we would reinforce and change that behavior through reinforcement. If you don't have the skills to calm yourself, all the reinforcement in the world is not going to help you. And so teaching students calming techniques, helping them practice that in the classroom, and recognizing, I think what we really want teachers to understand is that children don't come to school to misbehave. Really, they're doing the best they can. And so what skills are they missing? And then how can we fill that in to support them?
Now, you would think that all teachers, all staff would be very interested in the services that Central Rivers provides, just because that has a positive impact on the entire classroom. A couple other things here. I mean, only 20% of children who have mental health disorders will get the treatment that they know, or they may not even know it at the time. The parents may not even know that they have a child that does have a mental health issue, right?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
And even if they know it, we know in the state of Iowa, we have a significant problem for those supports. And so we have trouble. In our rural districts, they don't have access to mental health supports.
Amy, you wanted to add something to that too.
Yeah, I wanted to add that as part of our allotment from Governor Reynolds, we have also started what we call social work consortiums. And what that is a few districts come together in order to provide social work services to children who need it. So those that can access it outside, we have a social worker to help families try and access some of those services that would be available to them. They can also provide direct services to children also, but we want them to be able to access that community resources that are out there.
Okay, we're going to continue our discussion in just a moment. We have to go take a break real quickly. A reminder also, all of our shows are online on kwwl.com. So we're coming right back here in just a moment. And welcome back to this week's edition of the Steele Report. We're talking about the great work being done in supporting educators in the area by Central Rivers Area Education Agency, serving some 9,000 square miles and 62,000 kids a day in 18 counties, I think you said now? That's just incredible. And I want to reintroduce my guest here today, Rusty Sparks. Rusty is from Rhinebeck. I didn't know that until you told me before the show. She is the special education consultant for Central Rivers AEA, and also Amy Knupp is the executive director of special education for Central Rivers, and both of them are based out of the Cedar Falls office. And we were talking during our first break, Amy, you said you wanted the staff, the teachers, people in this district and other districts that you serve, all 18 of them, to know what about the services you offer?
You asked before break what we would want teachers to know. And the one thing I want teachers to know is we're here for them. They're not alone out there. We're here to help in any way that we can. This is a tough topic, and this is a really difficult thing to work through, and we are here to help them work through however we need to be. We have 11 regions, and within our 11 regions, we have what we call a well-being team in each region. And that well-being team consists of someone who has expertise in behavior and in autism and in mental health. And they are there to kind of go out and help teachers when interventions aren't working or they're stumped on what a child needs at that point. And so I just want teachers to know that we're here and we are more than willing to come out and help any way we can.
And they know how to get a hold of you, I think, but what's the best way really, if they just do a search through Central Rivers or?
A search, or our direct number in Cedar Falls is 319-273-8200, and you just call in and ask for, you need some assistance, and they will get you in the right, wherever you need to be.
In a classroom of 25 students, 15 of those students were exposed to violence over the past year, and 6 of them were actually victims of crime themselves.
You don't know when that child walks in. That's why when Rusty mentioned that they're doing the best they can, and that's what we really feel. Children are doing the best they can when they can come to school, and what supports can we put in place to make that even better for them.
What are you seeing as far as research and your own personal experiences and what you think?
I think there have always been children who have had mental health issues. We just weren't aware of them. And I'll give you an example. Growing up, which was a long time ago that I was in school, but growing up in school, I can now go back and identify some students who were in the same class with me or class above me, class behind me, that maybe had some mental health difficulties that everybody just kind of ignored. It was so taboo to talk about it or even admit that there was a problem, even within your family.
So Rusty, in your years as a teacher, you spent many years doing that. Did you notice a change slowly over the years, or was it something that you just saw occasionally? Or
What I think I have noticed a difference is in the supports that are available to students. The change that I've noticed is the way families are supporting students, because they are doing the best they can, and so they don't always have the skills themselves to deal with the students that are really struggling and are difficult because they have their own problems as well. And I think in a school setting, I really do believe the pressures on the teachers have gotten is what has really changed.
Okay.
Our need to improve academic rigor has become so focused and needs to be focused so that our students are leaving school with the skills they need, but it has taken away those opportunities for teachers to teach those others, what we often refer to as those soft skills. So they don't have, for years we took away recess, thought that we didn't have time for recess in school. Well, what that did was it took away all of our little people's opportunities to play and to interact with each other and to use those socializing skills that they need to have to be successful.
So the responsibility, is it on the teachers to be able to identify this? Is it on the parents? Or is there somewhere in between? We don't want to put too much pressure on the teachers because they have 20 some students in their class sometimes,
We need to take a team approach. So one of the benefits AEA provides people like me in all of their buildings. And so there are people there to provide supports to the school, to the and to the students. And so we need people to get together, the teacher, the AEA staff, the administrators, the family, to have a conversation about what's going on when necessary or appropriate, outside agencies that are providing supports for that student. And so that we're having a group conversation about what are the skills the student needs to learn in order to be successful in school, and oftentimes also at home.
And of course then there's always the stigma that's still around. In fact, someone I really respect got up in front of a big group recently and said, hey, I had some problems and I went and got help. And that's a big step forward, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a big step forward. We need more people, to be able to come forward and say, this is what I'm going through and this is what's happening. To piggyback on what Rusty said also, I like to think about it in a way that we've set up some supports for all schools. So we like to get kind of a baseline of support, so this doesn't fall on the teacher. This is more like a whole school coming together to make sure that kids are all getting what they need. And our what I call our baseline is like making sure there's a team in place, a leadership team that's looking at mental health, to make sure that we're meeting all the needs of kids, to look at maybe like a universal screening process where that can identify kids who have difficulties, and then that would tell us where we need to go next or what else we need to look into. Having a social emotional curriculum of some sort that teaches kids the skills they need to know, and not teaches them in isolation, but it embeds it in everything they're doing every day. In a classroom, seeing kids working in partners or small groups, that teaching them some of those, what Rusty referred to as soft skills.
Okay, we're going to take one more break here and come back and wrap things up here as we talk with two experts from Central Rivers AEA about helping kids. And I think the discussion is very eye-opening for me anyway. Really another experience that I'm so glad you were able to come on the show. We're going to take a short break and come right back in just a moment. And welcome back to our final segment of the Steele Report this week. We're talking about Central Rivers Area Education Agency and efforts to improve the lives of students and their educational opportunities. Amy, you mentioned this during the break. I thought it was a very interesting thing. What does the ideal classroom of today look like in your mind?
In my mind?
Yeah.
I would walk in and see not a teacher standing up front teaching maybe kids as we picture it, more so a classroom that was engaged in problem-solving activities, either in small groups or individually, where the teacher was kind of roaming around the room asking questions, not directing the work, but inadvertently directing the work, taking them through some problem-solving steps where they were learning how to maybe disagree with each other, but still have a good outcome. They're learning to work collaboratively together. They're learning how to problem solve situations and getting those soft skills. That's what we talk about, integrating the social emotional curriculum into what you're already doing in the class. So it's not an add-on for students. I don't know if Rusty has anything additional.
I was thinking about, as you were talking, Amy, we think about in an ideal classroom where the teacher is facilitating the learning. So you see students not sitting in rows, but sitting in at round tables or at little pods where they're able to interact with each other and have conversation, have collaborative learning, where they're really digging deep into a problem, where they're having inquiry. They're trying to sort out what is instead of somebody telling them, but they're really able to problem solve.
So is this the classroom of today or the classroom of the future, and is there resistance going that way? Is this something you're trying to get schools in AEA's district to go along with, or is that hard to do?
I think that it's the classrooms of today. In many places we are seeing that kind of learning happening. The support that we provide our educators is because it's a classroom management. It's always going to be easier to have kids sitting in rows and have us telling them what to do. And so you have to learn how to manage the classroom and how to facilitate that learning. And so we can provide support so that they're able to do that and be real skilled at it. I see lots of classrooms across our agency where there's really great instruction happening that way.
Right.
And some teachers are very, very skilled at that, and they just naturally are able to facilitate that kind of learning.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of exchanging ideas without being critical, letting every idea counts, every idea, every perspective is meaningful to that person and to everyone around them. That's a difficult situation in itself today, given our society. And what role does social media play in that? And as you see in the effect on a classroom. There again, it's kind of a tough question.
It is a tough question.
I think, a lot of social media that we're seeing lands more on the bullying end of things and tends to make things more difficult in school and out of school. But we've seen a lot of schools that have done good things in order to kind of mitigate that with kids, talking to parents, talking to them about, being kind on social media and not using it as a kind of attack.
Right. Because some students really don't know that that's wrong, because that's all they know. And then when they finally see given to them in that perspective, they go, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I acted that way." Because people are willing to change, if they're wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think sometimes adults maybe have modeled some of that also, because you look at
That's where they
Facebook
get
once
it,
in a while, and it can be pretty rough for people at times. So just making kids aware of what that does to another child or could do to another child.
Well, as we wrap things up here, again, they can contact Central Rivers, contact you, either of you. I know all the staff members, or a lot of the staff members, are listed on your website. I was kind of going through there, and that's just fantastic. So as we wrap things up here, Rusty, again, the support is there, and the students and the teachers and the school districts need to take advantage of that, right? Yeah.
Yes, again, I would say that there is support in every building, and you should contact those people and they will be able to help you. We are super excited about the opportunities to support schools in doing the really good work and enhancing the really good work that they're already doing.
Yeah. Amy, you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, we are available. We're here. And we are ready to help support schools in any way that we can, and are excited about the direction we're going and the great things that we're doing, and look for many more things to be on the horizon as we move through this process and get more things ready to go.
That's fantastic. Amy Knupp, Rusty Sparks from Central Rivers Area Education Agency. Keep up the good work. Okay? and again, thanks to Beth Strike for lining things up here through Central Rivers. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week right here.